Good morning. Good morning to each and everyone. I think our PC administrators are here. Our resource person is here. Students are here. Presenters are here. So we are all set to endeavor this activity today. This is a scheduled activity for our graduating students of Collab Group for PCU Transnational Education Extension Program, their project seminar paper presentation. So we are looking forward to meet our goal, which is on the theme, integrating theory and practice. To begin with, let us pause for a while for our opening prayer, and after which the Philippine National Anthem.
Ang dugong gumuhit ng ating kasaysayan, ng ating pagkatao, ng ating lahi, ay ang dugo ng kabayanihan. Mula sa mga bakas na iniwan ng ating mga ninuno, ating ipinagpapatuloy ang kanilang nasimulan sa mga paraang hinihingi ng anumang panahon. Taglay ang ipinamanang kagitingan at inspirasyon. Dahil ang apoy na sumiklab ilang siglo na ang nakalilipas ay nabubuhay pa rin sa atin magpahanggang
In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Mabuhay ang katipunan! Prepare! Apunte! Fuego!
Good morning, isang malaya at maunlad. Magandang buhay na umaga po sa lahat. As been told in a lot of academic discourses that a project or a research initiative won't make sense if it is not disseminated publicly. So for PCU, TNEEP, Collab, as site coordinator, I am so proud that for this 2 days event, we will be presenting the first batch of our students, not only to graduate, but at this time, they will present their paper outputs or a seminar paper output for their respective specialization. So I think we have here not only students that we look forward on their time to present, the younger ones, and we also have here, I have seen some visitors coming from the industries that will benefit the program or the projects that were initiated and hopefully proposed by our proponents to be presented in this 2-day event. Now, we have actually designed this 2-day activity in the different specializations offered by our group, the Collab. So I think we disseminated the program flow, and we look forward that learnings will still be maximized in this 2-day event. And we welcome you all to this presentation of outputs, proposal and finished outputs for our graduating batch for PCU Collab Group. And to begin with, let us have the blessings of our PCU administrators. We shall have, the president is on his way to Nueva Ecija for an official trip. So he sent me a message. But earlier today, we already have our Vice President for Globalization and Extension, no other than our supportive Vice President, Dr. Margie De La Cruz. Morning, Doc Marge.
Good morning, Doc Matt, and the rest of the students and guests in this project seminar presentation. Allow me to greet you all a warm Christian greetings of peace and wonderful morning as well. No? It is indeed a great pleasure and an exciting privilege for me to officially open this project seminar presentation with the theme Integrating Theory and Practice. Through the initiatives of the MM Group, no, headed by Dr. Matt Makalaking. Sorry. Lagi akong naano sa apelyido mo, sir, no?
Okay.
And Philippine Christian University TNEEP team and the Graduate School of Business and Management. This is, I think, as Dr. Matt is the final requirement for the course, no? Anyway, hopefully this coming February or March, we will have a face-to-face graduation for this group of students, no? Kasi kasama din ako dun. So, really, I push for the face-to-face. Thank you, Doc Matt. And I congratulate also you for the postdoctoral degree. We are very grateful to the administration of PCU led by our president. Sabi niya nga po, brown out po sa Solano, Nueva Vizcaya po siya ngayon. No? And very grateful to the administration of him by his very grateful to the, I'm sorry, we are very grateful to our president led by our dynamic and vivacious president, Dr. Junifen F. Gawan, for the tremendous support he has provided to our institution and to the organizing committee for this activity who has continuously have put together an engaging program like this for the benefit of our graduate school students. I would like to announce to everyone that this coming December 2, Doc Matt's group or the MM Collab will receive an award for being one of the best and well-organized group in terms of activities and programs. So Doc Matt, be there on December 2 at 3 p.m. We are fortunate to have the support of a great team of MM Collab adjunct faculty as resource speakers, whom you will get to meet later on. The presenters of this seminar, specifically the students with different majors in Master in Management, to discuss topics related to their specialization, most particularly in this time of pandemic and the future of post-pandemic. So without further ado, as the Vice President of Globalization and Extension Program, let me end this with a big appreciation and gratitude to all of you who are participating in this seminar presentation. Thank you and God bless us all. And congratulations, Dr. Matt Makalaking and the MM Collab Group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, BP Margie. Congratulations also for your another 3 stripes. No, so we look forward to that graduation.
Yes,
thank you.
And see you all then, all students. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Hopefully at PICC.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And we also would like to thank PCU Support Services. No, they have been with us, no, for the first batch of our students, now when we started. So they have been supporting us all throughout. So we can't but acknowledge them. We have our VP for Finance, Mark Jetro Kababan, our Director for Online Education Professional Department, Dr. Vida Jimenez, and also our very supportive Vice President for Information Communications and Technology, Dr. Mario Miranda. So marami pong salamat sa inyo sa pag-support. And also we have our PCU administrators for Transnational Education Extension Program. Dr. Jeffrey Perida, the director now of the Transnational Education, and Ms. Joanne Rosales, the department head for the Graduate School of Business. So marami pong salamat sa inyo. Okay, thank you so much, PCU Support Services. Okay, at this juncture, I have really been honest. No, this is a short notice, but Pidong, my former boss, no, in Far Eastern University as Community Extension Director, said yes to our invitation. Okay, so I would like to formally introduce our speaker for today, the chief for the Local Convergence Coordination Division, National Anti-Poverty Commission, Office of the President. So he has these aligned degrees, no, for development. Sociology for his Bachelor of Arts in the UST Manila, community development at the UP Diliman, and pursuing his thesis now at De La Salle University for his Doctor of Development Studies. So he has been all around in the developing programs and projects aimed at addressing poverty in the realm of the rural and urban areas, and manages the same relative to providing solutions to poverty-related concerns by way of convergent platform development. Now, I invited him to speak to our soon-to-be managers in the area of management in various specialization. And I hope, and we hope, that we can get an inspiration from his message. And later on, as we allot a time for not an open forum, but I call it an open conversation with our expert here as a consultant professor for development studies. So please let us give a round, resounding applause, virtual applause, to our speaker today, Alfredo Pidong Antonio. Good morning.
Thanks, Doc Matt. Permission to share. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay, Dr. Junifen Gawan, President of the Philippine Christian University, Dr. Margie de la Cruz, Vice President for Globalization and Extension, PCU. Okay, esteemed faculty members of the Graduate School of Studies, Transnational Education and Extension Program, Collab Group, graduating students with a degree in marketing management, and guests. Good morning, everyone. I'm kind of honored to be presenting in your project seminar paper presentation with the theme integrating theory and practice. Okay, so allow me to introduce myself. I met Doc Matt way 10 years back, I think, in FEU when I was in the director of extension services. So, and okay, Doc Matt then was handling student development, I think, with the Student Council and the Tamara volunteers. Okay, so after my stint in FEU, I went to Cambodia and pursued consulting with several non-government organizations in Cambodia. So I stayed there for like 2.5 years, and I worked along the lines of baseline survey and project evaluation and development. So I did consulting with the various NGOs, including the Cambodian Women's Crisis Something and like that. Now I'm working with the National Anti-Poverty Commission as Chief of the Local Convergence Coordination Division. If you're not familiar with NAPSI, NAPSI is a small organization under the Office of the President, which was created by virtue of RA 8425, or the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act of 1998. And our mandate is basically to provide oversight in all of the government's anti-poverty programs and projects. So we do monitoring and policy formulation, and we work with what we call the basic sectors. We have 14 of them. That's based on the law, which include, among others, women, children, youth, victims of disasters and calamities, farmers and fisher folk. Okay, so today, I was asked by Doc Matt to provide some inspiration. I'm not talking about the formal project development and management lectures. I should, you've been through with that, no, for a very long time in pursuing your degree. So what I'm going to do today is give you some ideas on how to become a better leader. And I want to focus on the value of values and the becoming. So this is going to be like an informal sharing, not so much a formal lecture, but I still hope that you get something out of it after finished. Okay, so ano ba yan? Okay, for me, management is getting things done through others. I think you have a lot of definitions of what management is all about, and like you've studied theories about XY theory, something like that, and you know many things about this. But for me, I gauge my value as a manager in terms of how very good my staff performs, in terms of deadlines, etc. So if we get things done, it's not because of me. What I provide is like supervision and guidance, no, and instructions. If they perform very well, and probably that's because of my instructions, my guidance and supervision. So I gauge my being a good manager in terms of how things get done through me, no? And of course through others, through my staff. My concern is I don't know if they're performing because of the rules and policies. You know, in the National Anti-Poverty Commission, our staff gets evaluated every 6 months. Most of them are contract of service, and based on their performance from, say, from January to June, we're going to evaluate them sometime July if they're going to get rehired from July to December. So I'm not even sure if the reason why they're following me is because of the policies, and basically like they're afraid, no, they won't get rehired for the next semester. So and I get confronted by this thought most of the time, every day. Am I actually an effective manager? For me, uh, leadership is beyond management. So it's walking the talk, yeah. So you do yourself what you tell people uh, what they should be doing. So people follow you because this is something you that's noteworthy, or something that's worth emulating. So it's not just because they're afraid of you, or there's policy, and there's a rule that they won't get rehired after 6 months because they failed to perform their deliverable, something like that. So leadership is like living it yourself, di ba? Parang they believe in you because you're worthy of believing. Ginagawa mo yung pinapagawa mo sa kanila, at may nakikita sila sa atin na na parang karapat dapat. At naniniwala sila dahil doon. Okay. So based on my experience, I've learned over the years that values are very important in being a manager or a leader. So everyone should have his or her own set of value systems, no? So values are things that you believe in and what you regard as relatively important to your life. It can be anywhere from material things to spiritual things, and everything, you know. So I mean, you can be a leader or a manager without your own set of values. Kasi parang at the end of the day, when you're confronted by crises, family, personal, even at work, or if you face conflict, with your work or with people that you don't like, its values that serve as your fallback position. Parang ito yung mga pinaniniwalaan mo kasi and paglalaban mo, di ba? Uh, pag leader ka, dapat very clear yung value sets mo. Anong pinaniniwalaan mo at pinaninindigan mo at anong mahalaga sa buhay mo. Parang ganon. So, I would like to share from the ruler's guide. So it's from Tai Taizong, one of the greatest emperors who ruled China in the 7th century. So it's Tang Dynasty, no? So the ruler's guide is an anthology of stories about Tai Taizong and how he handled his staff, the ministers of the court, and the judges and something like that. So for Tai Taizong and the ruler's guide, there's 9 virtues and 10 vices. If a ruler is to become highly successful and highly respected, he must have 9 virtues. These 9 virtues, you may also regard as your own set of values, right? So the 9 virtues that a ruler should hold dear, no, and try to practice every time are these. So graciousness, gentleness, respectfulness, prudence, loyalty, fairness, honesty, courage, and adherence to principles. So there's also a bad side to it, right? So virtues are things that make you good inherently, and it makes you moral if you practice the virtues. But even the greatest of leaders also tend to fall sometimes, right? Parang you fall off the track. And it's like the 10 commandments, these 10 vices. So according to the ruler's guide, these are the things that a ruler or a leader should avoid if he wants to continue ruling in the right path, so to speak. So number 1, greed. If you like something, know what is enough. Going too far. If you desire something, know when to stop. So arrogance. Remember, a high position carries high risk. Indulgence. Exercise self-control. Slackness. Always be diligent and consistent in whatever you do, even if it's small things. Discouraging your subordinates from speaking out. I highlighted this reference in red. It says, listen to them with an open mind, because as we're going to discuss later in a little while, listening is very important as a value. And I regard listening as one of the most important things that I've learned over time. Tolerating slanderers, oust wicked men from your court. Awarding people when you're happy. The award may be inappropriate. At the same time, if you punish people when you're angry, the punishment can be too harsh. That's what the ruler's guide says. Okay. So personally, I stand for FEEP. So FEEP means fairness, integrity, and truth. Fairness, how do I define fairness? Whenever I make decisions for my staff, especially during the evaluation process, I try to consult with them. And I try to implement policies at the office fairly. May konting, syempre, di ba, may iwasan yung favoritism. You like some stuff more than the others, but for me, what's important is I consult with them and I implement policies and call attention to them if they're not performing well, and that goes for everyone. I also value integrity. In the government, okay, we're trusted, no, to go against corruption, and you know, if you're working in the government, ang daming temptations kasi, di ba? So I won't get trapped, no, pag mga issues ng corruption, something like that. It's a no-no for me. So my reputation and integrity is highly valued, and I respect it for myself. And of course, truth. So we're scientists and we're trained to be objective every time. Everything must be factual, documented, something like that. Hindi ako basta-basta nagpapaniwala sa mga sinasabi sa akin ng mga tao. So, I value truth. Ano ba yung totoo lagi? So, kasama kasi yan ng fairness, di ba? Parang, para maging totoo ka, dapat maging fair ka. Yan ang aking mga personal values. Okay. I learned over the years that listening is very important. When I was younger, I would listen to counterattack. Parang ano kasi, parang pag ayaw mo magpatalo, nakikinig ka para ka makaabante, di ba? But for now, I just listen to listen. So sometimes people just need very good listening ears. So they don't want to be judged. So we don't listen to judge others. We just listen for the sake of listening. And sometimes that's what just people need, right? So listening is very important in terms of facilitating work. Pag hindi ka nakikinig, you tend to oversee instructions, di ba? Parang mo siya, nalalagpasan. So tapos ulitin mo yung work because you didn't listen at the start. It builds trust, friendship, and relationships. It shows that we care. So the reason why we listen is we just want to be there. So ganun lang, di ba? Parang we want to show our empathy for other people. Not sympathy, magkaiba yun. So empathy is putting yourself in other people's shoes. So it reinforces fairness and objectivity. Pag ako nakikinig sa tingin ng mga staff ko, fair ako kasi pinapakinggan ko yung side nila. And I'm not judging them based on what I just heard or what I saw. So I listen. So also it expands our worldview. Kung dati very limited siya, pag nakikinig tayo, may bago ako natututunan, ganyan, di ba? Parang sarap makinig kasi natututo tayo mismo sa sarili natin. May mga mali pala tayong ginagawa pag nakikinig. So according to Winston Churchill, criticism may not be agreeable, right? But it is necessary. It fulfills the same function as in the human body. It calls to a healthy state of things. So we don't want to get criticized most of the time. It hurts us. But in an organization, criticism is okay, right? It's part of listening. When you get criticized, for whatever reason, it may or may not be true. You take it with a grain of salt. You listen. Di ba? Parang kailangan nating makinig. Tama ba o mali? So, listening is very important in management and in leadership. And yes, listen to yourself. So, listen to what your body is telling you. Parang minsan, masyado tayong busy, hindi tayo nakikinig sa sinasabi ng katawan natin. O kaya natin yan, kaya natin. Sige, kaya pa. So, this is what Carl Jung tells us as intuition, right? So it may or may not be true, but intuition tells us there's something there. So wag natin siyang pagpapasawalang bahala or isasantabi. If your body is telling you something or your mind is telling you something, you listen to yourself. Wala na bang mawawala? Okay magpahinga, di ba? Parang nasa natin yan, nasa ating para sa kalusugan natin. Yun lang. So you may know all these values, you practice them as you may think, but all of this talk is just gibberish if you don't act, di ba? Parang sayang lang. So ang galing-galing na natin mag-manage, alam natin yung mga management principles and all that. So meron na tayong value system, pero hindi naman natin siya pinapractice. For me, wala yan eh. It's nonsense, it's gibberish. Oh, this is Greta Thunberg. No, she has Asperger's syndrome. It's relative to autism, and a function of Asperger's syndrome. It makes people who have them become really intelligent. May problema lang sila sa social skills, and they tend to repeat things over and over again. Greta Thunberg is a social activist for climate change. No, she's a climate change advocate. She tells us, I want you to act as if your house is on fire because it is. Para wag na tayong naghihintay kasi marami tayong kailangan gawin. So we're going to be managers. We're going to graduate soon as managers and also supervisors or even technical specialists. Let's advocate for something, for what we believe in, di ba? If we believe on the right to life, environmental change, whatever, let's act on it. So we already have the values, but it's not enough if we don't act on it. Lapit na magpasko, so 26% of the population still live in absolute poverty. So during Christmas time, we must remember the poor, especially the women, PWD, senior citizens. So I want to end my talk with the work of Christmas. I read it somewhere, so it says, when the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, then the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among others, to make music in the heart. Congratulations to graduates. So remember your school motto, faith, character and service, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir Bedong. Thank you for that insightful yet very personal message of inspiration, especially to our first batch, to graduate for PCU MM Collab Group, and of course the rest of the students that are here. So we'll take note on those things. I think your jargon of PIT, I think that would make sense to us. Okay. So we shall open our conversation if there are things around from our audience to say to our resource speaker. We can start the open conversation. Please just raise your hand so we can acknowledge. Sir Peds.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Mac.
Yeah. Looking at your expertise in the project management, and just want to be enlightened on the concept of your management that is on convergent platform. So how is convergent platform nowadays? I think when everyone is diversified in terms of interests. So how is convergent platform realized?
Sa NAPSI kasi we have what we call convergent platforms. No? So we have one in Southern Ilocos Sur, we call it Magnificent Magic 7. Sa amin, ang concept kasi sa NAPSI ng convergent platform development, we call the government side and the basic sectors to talk, to discuss. Normally, we just have one top one or two agenda to discuss in our convergent platform. So what NAPSI does is facilitate this dialogue between the government, other stakeholders, and the basic sectors. So for example, in MM7, in Southern Ilocos Sur, we have 7 municipalities under that convergent platform. So ang program nila is agri-ecotourism development. So they talk about how to develop agriculture in Sugpon, for example, Suyo, and in Santa Cruz, no, ganyan. So sa amin, ang convergent platform development is merging, pooling of resources, initiatives and efforts from both sides, but mostly from the government side to support the initiatives of the basic stakeholders in communities so they can they can deliver like agricultural development requirements, something like that. So it platform development, convergent platform development is pulling up resources, initiatives, money, funds, so it can support the basic sectors, no, in the quest for development. So that's how we define convergent platform development. So in terms of management, we facilitate the convergence. So we set regular meetings with the directors in La Union, something like that, quarterly. So that's the function of NAPSI. So for us, that's how we define management in the context of convergent platform development.
How far are we at par with the ASEAN? So your experience with Ho Chi Minh, your experience with other countries, no? You've been to Vietnam, Myanmar, Cambodia. With respect relative to how do we plan, design, and implement projects towards public sector?
So to be fair about it,
Yeah.
Cambodians regard us highly. So many consultants in Cambodia working with NGOs are Filipinos. So they regard us highly in terms of how we plan, how we write project proposals, how we implement projects. Malayo eh. Parang Philippines, our project managers, malayo tayo compared sa kanila. Parang they're still in the process of kicking off things, so to speak. Pero ang tagal na nila na-liberate, so to speak, mga 1990s, pumasok ng UNCTAD doon, ano? So, pero hanggang ngayon, dependent pa rin sila sa foreign funding. Yung mga NGOs nila, nagsusupport pa rin international donors. Tapos in terms of planning, kasi for them, English is a hurdle, right? It's not something that we want to talk about, but Filipinos are good in English, and that kind of sets us apart. So dahil magaling tayo mag-English, di ba magaling, we're kind of proficient in it. So we can write better project proposals. We can speak to the public better. So ang skills level natin compared sa Cambodia, malayo pa yung tatakbuhin nila para maabot yung skills level natin.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think
so may mga interested bang mag-consultant sa international consultant sa Cambodia, for example? I can refer them to some of my friends. I mean, but what they have to do is bid. Kasi what I do is I constitute a project team, and I propose a project bid. So yung mga projects na nakuha ko sa Cambodia, it's mostly won bids.
okay.
So you compete with other international consultants, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it works.
So I think we can thank you enough for those sharing. Anyone from the participants would like to share, comment, ask questions, query? We are all welcome for this to this open conversation with our resource speaker.
I'm listening.
I think we had the best of our time, listening to your sharing today. We learned something, that projects cannot be really fully maximized if we don't want to. We have to look for that equilibrium, the convergence of resources, people.
Yes.
And of course, when we talk about resources, we also include capital, the funding and investment. But what is important, I think, with the presentation, and the projects of our students in the graduate school, they may look into that, no? The convergent platform development. And we had our consultations with students that some of them or few of them were able to get funding and support from the local government and the
Sure.
other sectors in pursuit of completing their projects. And actually, we had success stories already, and hopefully the rest of the other students, whether making a project individually or collaboratively, can look into that kind of platform. So we can thank you enough, sir. Let me if there are, I think we are clear on the conversation. So we thank you for your time, and hopefully I think I ask your favor if you can stay for a while and
Yeah,
listen to
sure.
the presentation of our students. So at this juncture, Philippine Christian University Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Alfredo Pidong Antonio for his invaluable insights as resource speaker during the webinar discourse session on project seminar paper presentation with the theme Integrating Theory and Practice, given this 27th day of November 2021 via Zoom Meet, Manila, Philippines. Signed by our very own President, Dr. Junifen F. Gawan. So thank you so much po, Doc Beds.
It's my pleasure, and you're welcome, and congratulations to the graduates. So looking forward to working with you in anti-poverty programs, projects, and activities of the government. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doc Beds. At this time, I would like to do the honors, no, in presenting the graduating class, no, of the Master in Management, Major in Educational Management, the MMEM group. So this group will be presenting their initiatives on their proposals, and hopefully looking forward to their completion of their project within the time frame or the next to come, no, months. And hopefully in their presentation we can also invite other students that to work with them, no, perhaps, no, in an areas where we can maximize the resources. So that's, I think, the word for today: convergent platform. Now this group of students for the Masters in Educational Management, I'm so thrilled, no, that they will be presenting outputs looking at the conversation message of BP Margie de la Cruz, that outputs align to what is happening today, the disruptions. And most of their outputs, most of their proposals are really towards this global pandemic. No? Now, since their alignment is in education, so they will be presenting one paper that will be presented, no, later, talks about learning support, especially in this time of pandemic. So I think that is quite interesting to take a look on that, no? The learning support system as a proposal. And another one is on the metal. So I like the word metal. So this is on in augmenting pedagogy for educators and assessors. So metal is maritime education, technology, online learning. So again, increasing, enabling educators and assessors, no, in the maritime education. Another one will look into learning continuity plan in this post-pandemic. So I think that's another interesting initiative as a project. And another one is on the collaborative teaching pedagogy. So she calls it the One Tech, online teaching through collaborative learning approaches. So these are some of the presentations and the proponents that we'll be hearing after my presentation or presentation of the presenters for the batch MMEM, Master in Management, Major in Educational Management. So I have here some examples of their proposals. And with that, let us listen to the EDUC group. Can we start? Okay, let me start our graduating batch, no, for EDUC management. We have Aberias Edgar, Arevalo J. Mark, Borse Evangeline, Consolacion Renante, Ehar Rinier John, Galingaga Glenn, Maglasang Rhea, Samodio Aldrin, Pasigna Brian, Lavin Gerardo, Ignacio Rubian, and Go Bernie. So I think the last says go. So can we have our presentation now from the group EDUC management? So let's start with, I think Brian will start the role.
Good morning,
Morning.
good morning, our honorable guest speakers. Good morning, Dr. Matt, Professor Matt, and to all our guests and administrators of this program. Ma'am VP Margie, good morning. And I'm proudly present to you my project proposal regarding in the area of maritime education training. Good day, everyone. I am Associate Professor Brown. Sorry for interruptions. Seems like my internet unstable. Doc Mac.
Okay.
Sir, medyo unstable yung connection ko. So,
Yeah,
okay.
you can present otherwise your PowerPoint and then just explain. Would you like to do that? we would like to also make mention that this is a 2-day activity. So this afternoon, we will be listening to the presentation of another cluster that is on Master of Business Administration. And then tomorrow, we shall have the Master for Public Administration. And then we also have the Master in Management, major in Public Health Administration, followed by the Master in Management, major in Hospital Administration. And we also have the candidates that will be presenting their outputs for the crisis management disaster resiliency group. So all those clusters will be presenting their proposal and their outputs. And I think I miss out the Master in Public Administration also. Brian?
Doc, sorry po, pwedeng next ko na lang po muna ako. Hanapin ko po muna.
Okay.
Thank you po. Sorry po.
We'll have Edgar. Good morning.
Morning, Doc. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Sana hindi rin nagloloko yung internet ko. But I'm gonna try my best. Anyway, it's a video recorded for my presentation. So I'll try to share it with you. Can you see it, po?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
No sounds po.
Sorry po, wala pong sound.
Yep. Oh.
Oh. Wait po.
When you share your screen, there is a button, maximize the sound. So I think you need to click it. Huwag kang mag-mute, sir. Sige. No sounds pa rin, sir.
Nakamute kayo, Sir Edgar. Ayun po. Pag,
Okay.
Sir Edgar, yung sabi din po ni Doc Matt, pag mag-share po kayo, pag naklik niyo yung share screen, meron po doon sa may bottom left corner, nakalagay share sound, i-tick po natin yon.
Okay.
I-check po natin yon yung box.
Yan po.
Pwede niyo, sir, i-double click po yan yung video ninyo.
Ayan.
Para ay. Actually, wala po kaming... Ako po wala akong narinig from my end. I'm not sure kung meron po yung iba. Doc Matt, may narinig kayo kanina? Play po ni sir. Wala daw. May nag-message. Wala daw sound po.
Wala
Sir,
din.
pwede niyo po siguro i-try yung video niyo po without sharing. Try niyo lang po kung may audio mismo yung video niyo.
Meron po. Hindi, yung isa kong classmate siya na lang mag-share. Try niyo i-share.
Yun, sige.
Ma'am Force, please help me out. Thank you po.
No worries.
Yan, meron na po. Oh, nawala. Yan, meron po. Thank you.
See.
The following program is rated G. It is suitable for all audiences.
Good day, everyone. I am Edgar Abieras, a master's student in management, major in educational management at Philippine Christian University. Today, I will be presenting my project proposal with the title Learning Support for Students During Pandemic, a project proposal for church members and dependents. Now that there is a virus called novel coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, we all face difficult times in our daily lives, and the world in general has changed dramatically. We can say that the word pandemic is a disaster itself, not just to human lives, but also to every country's educational system, especially in the Philippines. A third world country like the Philippines cannot quickly switch from a traditional educational system that is face-to-face into the distance and online learning. As this nation is battling the war against the pandemic, so as the students with regards to this new educational system. There are cases that students suffer from great anxiety and some incidents reported that students commit suicide due to some difficulties in dealing with their studies. At Jesus Presence Church, as the administrator, I have seen and heard students and parents complaining, struggling, and debating about the new educational system. The church itself has over 200 members and 65% are students. It is essential to pay attention to their needs as the church has been doing assistance even before the pandemic, and it is the goal of the church to reach out to families who require assistance in either physical or spiritual. The purpose of this project is to create a simple learning support system for the church members and dependents, providing the following. Technical. These are the computer assistance and troubleshooting. Materials. These are the printing and module production. Tutorials. Subjects and online solutions. Psychological and spiritual. These are the seminars and workshops. With this project proposal, we can easily attend to students' basic needs with or without their parents. All they need to do is to inform us online or just basically schedule a day to go to the church to ask for assistance. We will be having staff ready to assist them during office hours. This will create a good, harmonious relationship between the family members and the church, and will also develop and supply the learning needs of the students. Nowadays, you will find several community pantry. They are roaming around the barangays or villages. A community pantry is a service that provides food directly to locals suffering from food insecurity. Some rely purely on local donations. Some coordinate with food banks and organizations for steady supplies of food and essential goods. Some also organize other socio-civic activities for patrons. So instead of providing food to people, this project will be providing learning essentials to church members and dependents. Once again, I am Edgar Abieras, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Next, please. Are we okay now, Brian?
Doc, I'm going to play my video, Doc.
And may we request the other graduating students to please click on for your next presentation. There is an attendance form link in our chat box, so you can click on that for your attendance today. So everyone will have an e-certificate for joining this activity. Thank you. Ariel, maybe you can attend question.
Good day, everyone. I am Associate Professor Brian Pasigna, a registered maritime professional and a candidate for Masters in Management at Philippine Christian University And today,
do we,
I proudly
Brian,
present to you
can we share video?
Kita na po ba yung
Yeah,
screen?
okay, okay.
Good day, everyone. I am Associate Professor Brian Pasigna, a registered maritime professional and a candidate for Masters in Management at Philippine Christian University. And today, I proudly present to you
Maritime Educational Technology and Online Learning.
Developing a digital competence maritime educator and assessor.
METOL program or Maritime Educational Technology and Online Learning is intended to maritime professionals who are engaged in teaching in maritime higher education institution and maritime training institution. Since the breakout of this pandemic throughout the country, maritime education institutions face the greatest challenge on how they continually educate and assess maritime professionals to serve on board globally.
Maritime Educational Technology and Online Learning.
Developing a digital competence maritime educator and assessor.
Why developing a digital competence is necessary in this time? First, existing training program for maritime instructor is not equipped with competencies in digital era. Second, no teaching preparatory program in the maritime higher education institution. Number 3, maritime professionals are not trained to teach, but to perform ship works.
Maritime Educational Technology and Online Learning.
The METOL program will enhance, develop, and engage maritime educators in various technology and educational systems that can help in achieving a better result in education and assessment of students' competency. The program will also increase their competency in delivering lessons through online platform and learning management system. METOL program will contribute to the necessity of maritime industry in achieving their mission, and that is to provide a world-class and technically competent maritime personnel.
Maritime Educational Technology and Online Learning.
Thank you. Next, please. Bernie, can you do the next?
Sige po, Doc. Meron po atang
Sorry.
may ano po, list na po kami, Doc.
Okay, thank you.
The continuing challenges of the new normal to the basic education teachers of Primers Knowledge Learning Academy Incorporation in the city of Makati. A project presentation by Evangeline M. Burse, MMEM. It has been almost 2 years since the global pandemic started. The pandemic put away the lives of many unsuspecting people globally and still happening now. For some fortunate individuals, it is easy to adapt to the continuing changes in the society. Despite the many challenges, some people manage to keep their jobs and even work in the comforts of their homes. Some people are fortunate, period. When the first ECQ happened in most parts of the Philippines, schools and universities were instructed to cancel classes and all other educational gatherings. Both public and private have had to adjust to the new situation where face-to-face interactions and mass gatherings are prohibited. Everyone from school operations to administrators and teachers adjusted to work from home arrangements. A couple of months after the first lockdown, teachers from different institutions soon realized that they had to adapt in a short period to the changing educational practices. Unfortunately, many senior and traditional teachers were not yet ready, even if they are willing to adapt. Some of our experienced senior educators chose to retire early, and some just needed more time to learn the technology from A to Z to be able to function effectively, just like in the traditional face to face setup. On this very unfortunate event of our lives, one of the many greatly affected are the school owners. Primers Knowledge Learning Academy Incorporation of Makati, a small basic education institution, is very blessed to be able to continue their operation during the height of COVID-19. Blessed because despite the significant decrease in the number of unexpected enrollees, the school was able to open the school year. This is the good news in the story. The downside is since the number of students had decreased, the school would not be able to accommodate and give the rightful compensation to all the members of its faculty. It is very hard and saddening on the part of the school to temporarily suspend the service of some teachers. The school understands that this is unacceptable, but at the same time inevitable. The administrators of Primers Knowledge may not be able to rehire all the members of this at this time, but this does not mean that the institution cannot help differently in these dark times. No one will be left behind. This time is the best time that the institution gives back to its members. There is a total of 10 individuals affected by the sudden suspension of service, including non-teaching personnel. The target goal is to give each individual a livelihood in this time of the pandemic. The school offers after-school tutorial services and guidance, especially to the students whose parents have limited time assisting their children during or even after online classes. Before the end of the first quarter of the school year, the administrators were able to find enough candidates who are willing to pay extra for the tutorial services. The school used the power of social media and the power of words to spread this campaign. A year after, Primers Knowledge Learning Academy needed more than 10 teachers to service the growing number of students enrolling in our tutorial and online class guidance. This project is endorsed by and only by Primers Knowledge Learning Academy Incorporation. Although this project is highly profitable, the institution did not and will never collect any form of payment from its clients. The parents of the students will directly communicate with the tutors, teachers in terms of schedules, individual programs, and payment. The school will only continue to endorse tutors and tutees. The title of this project itself says Continuing Challenges. The administrators of the school believe that as long as the pandemic is not over and even after these unfortunate events, the institution will continue to adapt to the challenges. The institution will continue to help and find ways on how it can help. Being a small and thriving basic education institution in the middle of a global crisis and being able to help and give not just one-time support to its members is indeed a success in this fight against the devastating effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy. We started with a goal to give livelihood to a specific 10 individuals only, and now we are very happy and proud to say that today we continue this project helping more than 10 individuals. According to Maimonides, a medieval Jewish philosopher, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. This is the inspiration of the administrators of Primers Knowledge Learning Academy Incorporation for this project, and as a blessed member of this learning institution, I am proud to say that we have succeeded in our goal. Once again, this is Evangeline Burse. Thank you very much for listening and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll be the next doc.
Yeah. I'm taking the lead of Bernie. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey everyone, I am Renate El Consolacion, a Master in Management major Educational Management student, and I'm greatly honored to briefly discuss with you my conceptualized project as partial requirement of the course. Almost all of the education systems in the world try to fight against coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic and find ways to continue education during this challenging time. As a public elementary school principal, I can see the struggles of the teachers as they carry on with their job as well as they can despite the sudden shift in the modality of learning delivery. I deeply acknowledge the immense role of the teachers in the successful implementation of remote learning. Hence, this project, formulation of the Sustainability Implementation Plan for the Modular Distance Learning or MDL delivery for school year 2021-2022, based on the challenges encountered and best practices adopted by teachers of Sibalat Elementary School, Magsaysay District, Schools Division of Occidental Mindoro. Sibalat Elementary School adopted modular distance learning as its approach to deliver learning to the learners for school year 2020-2021. MDL, as defined in Decree Order Number 12, Series 2020, involves individualized instruction that allows learners to use self-learning modules or SLMs in print or digital format, whichever is applicable in the context of the learners, and other learning resources. The burden of bringing education closer to the learners through the modular distance learning modality is in the hands of the teachers. It is imperative to look into the experiences of the teachers in Sibalat Elementary School, Magsaysay District, being the frontliners of distance learning in the community, especially the challenges they encounter and the best practices they adopt. From these challenges and best practices, the school can come up with a workable sustainability plan to ensure effective and efficient implementation of the modular distance learning modality for school year 2021-2022. For the solutions and approach, this project aimed to, first, determine the challenges encountered by the teachers of Sibalat Elementary School, Magsaysay District in the implementation of modular distance learning for school year 2020-2021. Second, find out the best practices adopted by the teachers of Sibalat Elementary School, Magsaysay District in the implementation of modular distance learning for school year 2020-2021. And third, formulate a sustainability plan for modular distance learning implementation in Sibalat Elementary School for school year 2021-2022. Here are the major components or activities of the project, as well as the corresponding target date of implementation. To gather the responses of the teachers, read their challenges encountered and best practices adopted last school year, interview and focus group discussions were utilized. The challenges encountered by the teachers in the implementation of modular distance learning were categorized in terms of learning resources, distribution and retrieval mechanism, engagement with parents and learners, and finally, learning assessment and monitoring. The best practices adopted by the teachers as they implement the modular distance learning are the following. Here is the formulated Sustainability Implementation Plan approved for adoption and implementation for the school year 2021-2022. Since the adoption and start of the implementation of the plan last September until this time, all of the projects and activities of Sibalat Elementary School as regard the modular distance learning program of the school are anchored on the formulated MDL Sustainability Plan. Indeed, the shift of the learning delivery in schools to modular distance learning made the delivery of quality education more challenging on the part of the teachers. The Sustainability Implementation Plan, as the final output of this project, would serve as the direction of the school in its MDL implementation for the school year 2021-2022. This plan would also mirror the necessary administrative, logistical, or instructional support the school head, supervisors, and other stakeholders may extend to the teachers so that the MDL implementation can be managed more efficiently and effectively as we all navigate in this new normal of education. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you so much. I think we still have other presenters, but please make sure, I would like to remind everyone that the chat box is ready for your questions, comments, or queries regarding the MMEM presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I am Rainer Chan S.A.R., Master's in Management, major in Educational Management. Today, we're going to discuss about my project proposal. As titled Strengthening Alternative Learning System program in this pandemic. Education is important in eradicating poverty and hunger and in promoting sustained, inclusive, and equitable economic growth and sustainable development. Increase efforts toward education's accessibility, quality, affordability, and many development efforts. I work a lot in the slums of Tansa, Iloilo City, and the life there is very poor and it's very sad. And I have always taught myself to look for the beauty in it, to look for the beauty in the youth, to be the grateful that I am their owl's implementer. I see situations with a silver lining and to assess where I could give something, where I can provide something as owl's implementers. Literacy is a key factor that may affect one achievement in career ambitions and quality of life. It should possessed by everyone who wants a good job and remarkable opportunities. Thus, the Department of Education has implemented the alternative learning system, which amplified by the Executive Order number 356, remaining the non-formal educations, the alternative learning system, Republic Act number 7165, the Presidential Proclamation number 480, series of 1989 AFA 2005. The main purpose of the alternative learning system is to eradicate this trying times pandemic, and the proponent has decided to come up with this project strengthened alternative learning system program in this pandemic to help the Department of Education's uplift the missions and visions of the welfare of the learners. As I said, the project extend to highlight the essence of every learner to attend accessible educations that will hone their skills and development their holistic aspects. The successful implementation of strengthened ALS projects may impact to the learners fosters in valuing educations. Every learner is considered normal to those attending in the formal schooling. ALS program may be helped considered as one of the strongest pillars in fostering learning skills of the learners. Being innovative is remarkable nowadays. Thus, the program will enhance and enable the teachers and learners to become more passionate in their craft and eventually will inspire others. And I do believe every ALS learners is a champion. Sa ALS, may pag-asa. Once again, I am Raynor Chan S. Ihar, saying to everyone, thank you and mabuhay. Good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Good morning po. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
perfect.
sir.
Okay po. So, since I'm currently connected with Our Lady of Lourdes School of Aglipay Career Incorporated, I made a enhanced learning continuity plan in the new normal for the school year 2021-2022. The Our Lady of Lourdes School of Aglipay Quirino Incorporated's Enhanced Learning Continuity Plan is designed to give learners with appropriate alternative delivery modes of learning so that they can progress from one topic or segment to the next at their own pace. This is in response to the threats of the deadly infectious disease COVID-19. Please be informed that during the previous school years, we are only using the modular approach of teaching and learning. And since we already have a yung bagong mandate na possible tayong mag-apply for a face-to-face setting, then we also included a face-to-face setting in our enhanced learning continuity plan. Furthermore, we also included other delivery modes that could cater and address the needs and learning of our students, the Lordesian students. Consistent with that of department advisories of Department of Education, Department of Health, the Interagency Task Force for Management of Emerging Infectious Disease in the Philippines, or the Office of the President, the physical opening of Our Lady of Lourdes School of Aglipay Quirino Incorporated will strictly apply preventive measures, health protocols that will require physical distancing, necessitate the school to redesign its curriculum aligned with the DepEd's most essential learning competencies, and establish a self-paced learning system, or what we call the SLS, at the Our Lady of Lourdes School of Aglipay, which is responsive to students' needs in the time of COVID-19, with suitable alternative delivery modes of learning to combine face-to-face learning, distance learning, and home-based learning. Please be informed that when Dr. Matt asked us to create a project proposal, I immediately implemented this proposal in my school, which is the OLLS. And I do believe it is very timely para i-implement itong project proposal na to. And as far as I can say, it is actually bearing fruit as of the moment. So ibig sabihin, talagang nagbubunga itong mga project proposal na ito na ginawa prior to the implementation in my school. So these are the alternative delivery modes na kinakandak namin ngayon sa Our Lady of Lourdes School of Aglipay. Before, we are only using the modular learning as what I've said. So now, the modular learning can be classified into two. First is the modular learning, wherein there are printed modules na binibigay sa mga estudyante. And the second one is the distance learning. Ito ay modular pa rin, but it can be accessed using the computer online. Okay. Next is the online learning, distance learning, hybrid teaching learning environment blended with face-to-face. So dito, nagkakaroon na kami ng tutorial. Okay. So sa aming elementary, we already asked the division office and the district office of Quirino, the Department of Education, now we will be conducting limited, very limited na face-to-face tutorial. And we already received the approval from the Department of Education. So andito na siya. So sa elementary and pre-elementary, nagkakaroon na kami ng limited tutorial. Okay? And then we also have the asynchronous online learning. Meron din kaming synchronous online learning na kung saan ay sa mga estudyanteng mayroong kakayahan to access the internet using the Google Meet and Zoom ay nagkakaroon pa rin ng learning. Okay? And then third is the flexible consultation and learning hours. Now, if students have the same concerns regarding the course content of their lessons, the teacher might conduct flexible consultation and learning hours to our students. Sa pagkakataon na yan, ay nagkakaroon ng clarification, okay, sa mga estudyante na under sa modular learning at saka sa distance learning. Under naman sa offline computer-aided learning o tinatawag naming OCAL, the school procured OTG flash drive na ibinibigay namin sa mga estudyante. So anong laman ng mga OTG flash drive? Okay, for the information of everybody, ang OTG flash drive kasi it can be accessed using the normal personal computer or laptop, and it can also be accessed using your phone. So ikino-connect lang siya sa phone or sa laptop. So anong content noon? Andoon yung mga pre-recorded lessons ni teacher at saka yung mga references na recorded din at saka iba pang mga learning resources na pwedeng i-access ng bata na walang kakayahan for an online learning. And number 5, since we already included in our enhanced learning continuity plan ang face-to-face setting, as soon as Department of Education nag-implement na ng nationwide na gradual opening of classes, then I do believe my school, Our Lady of Lourdes School of Aglipay, is very much ready to offer face-to-face setting or face-to-face learning from sa allowed na grade levels sa estudyante. And 6 is the home-based learning. Sa home-based learning, ang partner namin lagi sa home-based learning are the parents. Okay? So, tinutulungan under sa home-based learning ay tinutulungan ng parents ang estudyante, ang kanilang anak, para sa kanilang modular learning. And for the information of everybody, we also have under sa hybrid teaching learning environment ay nagkaroon ng ang aming school system ay nagkaroon ng memorandum of agreement with Persian Cable Systems sa Quirino, wherein our teachers from the Diocese of Bayumbong educational system can broadcast their lesson. Kumbaga sa DepEd, ito yung sa television. So may tinatawag kaming educational TV under the Diocese of Bayumbong educational system. So this program intends to gain the following impact. It addresses all needs, capabilities, and situations that a Laurentian student currently encounters and may encounter in the future. Second, it assures the public that even with the presence of COVID-19, students and pupils will continually learn. And third, it suits the learning capabilities with the students' financial capabilities. And at Our Lady of Lourdes School of Aglipay, no one is left behind is the official mantra of my school. So with this project impact, we always aim for the mantra, no one is left behind. And that would be all. Thank you so much and mabuhay.
Thank you po. Thank you, sir.
Hi, this is Rhea Manglasang, and today I'm going to present to you my project presentation, and it talks about the project One Teach. It's online teaching through collaborative learning approach. So this is an electronic curriculum which included online or virtual classes that was done to design an electronic curriculum to improve learning process. With the use of these different teaching strategies to make the online learning and teaching will be effective to students' applications of knowledge, values which were measured were about the behavior of the ability of the use and the knowledge that they had to learn. And the results showed that the electronic curriculum which is used affects student long-term learning success is an affirmative way, and also the student who are more responsible for the course had succeeded with their higher grades in the blended learning environment. The objective of any educational system is to take a person from ignorance to wisdom through the pathway of information, and it's to sort out and analyze it. And eventually it is to compare concept, building comprehension, and the knowledge wisdom activity which was mostly met by earlier education system. While e-learning won't replace traditional classroom, it will change the way we know them today. So with the improve of this project, of this for the student, the resources, and to reduce teachers' workloads, classrooms can shift to co-learning spaces. So students can arrive, learn, and engage all of their own pace of collaborative environment. So the student shift toward remote learning hasn't been easy. But this project, these collaborative learning techniques can help students feel involved, engaged, even through a virtual screen, planning on the right tools to make the participation smooth and simple. So, in other words, collaborative learning fosters the development of the critical thinking skills through discussion, clarification, and evaluation of peers' opinion. So, during this time of pandemic, online teaching is one way that our students would be able to learn better than the module. So in this way, we can integrate teaching strategies that will enhance the students' interest and improve the academic achievements.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mr. Gerardo. S. Lavin and the title. Good morning, everybody. My name is Mr. Gerardo S. Lavin and the title of my project program is From Traditional to Online, an e-leadership program for 21st century leaders and managers. Project Abstract. What does it take to win in today's digital economy? How do you deal with the disruption caused by digital technology, evolving business models, and changing workforce? Digital leaders are in high demand as business increasingly relies on digital technologies. These leaders are tech-savvy, data-driven, and are able to inspire teams to engage in rapid experimentation that drive transformation and business outcome. Given the scale of digital disruption, the skills and perspective of digital leaders are now required in every industry and job function, from operation to HR, accounting to product development, marketing to strategy. With the shift from traditional to online training workshop and post-studies have been an e-leadership program for 21st century leaders and managers will develop the knowledge and capabilities to lead organizational change and transformation, especially in times of what we call the new normal. This program intends to solve the following problems. Number one, how to bridge the gap between the traditional setup and online digital work environment. Number two, how to leverage the organizational culture based in the changing economy. And number three, how to lead the younger generation of workers effectively. Number four, this program can help senior managers and leaders improve their craft and skills despite their busy schedule. This program intended to gain the following impact. Number one, successful implementation of e-learning focusing on the particular on the relationship between the technological developments, policy, direction, and actual impact on practice. And number two, that each attendee can leverage well in the process and learning gained from the whole program. Number three, to normalize online learning platform, raise on the quality and efficiency of online learning through accreditation. And last one, develop platform-based strategies from growth and innovation.
Good morning. My name is Aldrin Pisamojo.
Sorry, second ano na po ito. Kay Sir Aldrin na po.
I'm currently taking Masters in Management, major in Educational Management at Philippine Christian University, and I am here to present to you my project proposal entitled Educational Support in Basic Education in Low-Income Communities in Manila City. We are facing a lot of problems in our educational system. However, while the Philippine education system has long served as an example for other Southeast Asian countries, this has changed in recent years and the system has deteriorated already. A fact that is most and visible and true in the country's more isolated poverty-stricken regions are experiencing these problems. And these problems are budget for education, quality of education, increased dropout rate, affordability of education, and lack of facilities, resources, and teachers shortage in public schools. Even before the COVID-19 struck us, one of the contributing problems to the growing problem in the Philippines education issues is the people's financial status. Thus, more children, youth, and even adults are left behind due to unfair access to learning. These issues can lead to worse long-term effects to the people. Education issues in the Philippines have increased and received new challenges that worsen the country's current state. With the sudden event of the health crisis in the Philippines, distance learning modes via internet or TV broadcasting were ordered by the government, and the DepEd and CHED launched a blended learning program in 2020, which involves online classes, printouts, and lessons broadcast on TV and other social media platforms. Thus, the new learning pathways rely on students and teachers having access to the internet. This adds to the current system's problems: no home access to computers or other digital tools for millions of Filipinos. Thus, the importance of technology in education affects many students. The project aims to improve the educational status of the low-income community and in Manila cities by giving them different activities with collaboration in different NGOs and the local government of the city. The project includes various activities such as providing educational materials to the children and youths, tutoring session, donating clothes, feeding programs, dental and medical services, and other activities that can help the students to grow. We want to help the community to advocate and support education, increase enrollment in the school, increase access to education in low-income communities, and change the life condition of the children and youth through the education and empowerment. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we have our last presenter for the cluster for Master in Management, Major in Educational Management, we would like to remind each and everyone, our participants today, that you can write your comments, observations, questions, or queries in our chat box so they can be acknowledged as we proceed with our open forum or some conversations again, no, with regards to the presentation for and on the Edu Management Group. So we shall have our last presenter for Edu Management.
Good day to each and everyone. So my name is Bernie, and I'm taking up Master in Management, Major in Educational Management. Today, I'll be sharing to you my topic about enhancing learning management system activities through the use of social media in a private school in Quezon City. So why I chose this topic? Because a lot of school this time of pandemic are using learning management system. Wherein they are using social media as a platform to reach out with their students, and a platform where students can submit their activities, assignments, quizzes, and even their major exams. When the pandemic started in the Philippines, our educational system has been revolutionized. The teachers can conduct synchronous and asynchronous classes, or there is an option for some schools to have modular classes. So basically, the aim of this research is to empower the learning management system through the use of social media platforms, since dominant of the students and the teachers are using social media platforms. And the social media platforms are empowering learning management system through the use of social media platforms can help both students and the teachers. For students, it will help the students to be responsible in using social media at all times so that they can know the do's and don'ts and the consequences of the use of social media. And they can maximize the learning management system in their school since that is being paid, and they will experience different activities provided by their respective teachers. And then they can utilize activities in learning management system in helping not just the school but also themselves to be abreast of the current issues and events happenings here in the Philippines. And for the teachers will also be involved in different teaching asynchronous to be given to the students. And the teachers can be more involved in learning management system that is being used in the respective school. And the teachers can be well educated of different platforms that the students are using right now, and they can integrate different activities, quizzes, assignments, wherein they can spread good and useful advocacies with their students. And those are the benefits and can help the teachers and the students for this project. So once again, my name is Bernie, and enhancing learning management system activities through the use of social media platforms in private school in Quezon City. Thank you so much.
There we have it. Congratulations, our Master in Management, major in Educational Management candidates for graduation on their presentation of output for seminar paper class. No? So this is indeed a welcoming challenge for not only for our students, but also for the rest of the participants present today, as we look into some pedagogies that would impact change in the process or system or approaches to learning, especially with the variations in terms of the environment of our school system. So I hope that we can join with them as they complete their projects, and we can collaborate anytime. So they have presented their paper to us this morning. So let us proceed now to the open conversation or open forum. If there are some questions, matters of clarification, or any comments or queries regarding the presentation of the EDUC group, you are all most welcome. Anyone? We acknowledge the pronouncement of some of our presenters that their projects are on their way to completion, and some already have been implemented, and there were a lot of a presentation on statistics on where they are right now, and then they presented some Gantt chart on the process of the completion of their project. So that's an awesome job, no, for the EDUC group. Can we have some insights or questions from the rest of the participants, if there are? So you can be acknowledged. And also those who are still on their way to completing their seminar paper, students, maybe you can ask some questions. One, two, three. Okay, if none from the participants, we would like to call again our resource speaker. There's a chat. Okay, let me check. Okay, if none from the participants or our distinguished people here, no, from those joining with us. May I call on again our resource speaker, Professor Pidong, to give us his insights on the presentation.
Yeah, thanks. I would like to commend everyone for successful presentation of the respective projects and projects proposals. So first things first, talagang parang common yung COVID, no? Common yung COVID concerns as the primary driving factor for all these proposals. And I think all projects are realistic within the framework of the identified problem itself. Of course, it's just like a 5-minute presentation. So if I'm going to like review a full blown project proposal, I would have read. I would have liked to read everything, like especially the background, right? So we've been taught, like me, based on my readings, one of the most important parts of a project proposal is the background and the context. Kasi dito, lahat sasabihin ano yung na-identify na problem, lalo na ng clientele o ng customers, right? Tapos ano yung context kasi ng problem. Halimbawa, yung One Teach, no? Yung kanina may presentation about One Teach kanina, yung the global online learning. Gusto ko maintindihan yung context noon. Ano yung konteksto ng One Teach? So, ineffective ba yung social media platforms ngayon na like Facebook or whatever, like yung mga pre-recorded something. So, of course, it's just 5 minutes presentation and basically it's just the abstract, the identified problems and the solutions and the parang target time frame. But when we work on our actual project proposals and submit it, for example, to an international funding agency, like for myself, like I've been competing before, no? I've been competing before in Cambodia. Let's try to really exert effort, making kulit on the background context of the project topic. Kasi pag na-identify natin, na-zero in natin yung background, logically magfo-flow na yung ano yung objective mo, bakit mo gagawin tong project na to. Tapos like sa project background, we would like to like have the data, no, the stats. Ano ba yung current statistics halimbawa ng mga yung sa OLLP ba yan, yung sa Lourdes sa Aglipay?
Yes.
O yung natatandaan ko na na magbibigay sila ng mga USBs, yung nandun na yung pre-recorded ng mga lectures. Interesado ko malaman ilan yung wala, ilan yung meron na. Kasi parang sa targeting natin, ang dapat mabigyan nung na yun, yung USB, yung mas nangangailangan. Ang problema lang natin, equal ba kasi yung internet connection o kung kailangan ba siya ng internet connection? Kasi may mga factors pang nakaka-affect . Itong mga bagay-bagay na to, dapat pag sinulat natin yung proposal, andun siya lahat makikita sa background and context. So like sa NAPSI, whenever we propose a proposal, it has funding, di ba? Yung budget proposal also. So based on the identified requirements, i-evaluate ng budget officer namin yung magkano yung kailangan mo sa travel, something like that, supply. So kailangan natin ng indicators. Ano yung mga target indicators natin para ma-measure yung success ng project. I'm sure you're students of educational management and one of your major learnings in the course is how to quantify, right? Ano yung mga objectives natin, ano yung mga target indicators. Para maging successful yung proposal, kailangan mabilang natin ilan yung mabibigyan halimbawa ng USB. Kasi based doon sa target natin, para mga 100 siguro siya, baka 20% ba yung target natin? Because it needs funding, right? So, very important for me, pag nag-review ko ng project proposal for funding ng NAPSI, kasi dumadaan sa akin yung mga proposals ng mga staff ko, yung numbers lagi, stats. Tapos, syempre, yung plan. Realistic ba yung plan? Like, you're targeting 1 year, so halimbawa yung distribution ng mga USB, is that 2 weeks, something like that? So may Gantt chart naman kayo, sabi ni Doc Matt, no? Pero very important na dapat andyan yung resources. So sa amin, sa NAPSI, funding normally requires the back. Yung may bids and awards committee pa kami eh. So pag nag-planning kami, tina-target namin pati yung pag-submit ng proposal, dadaan pa siya sa back. Normally mga 1 to 2 months yung proposal namin time frame. So I think yun lang. So very important yung background context. Based on that, ano yung targets natin, kailangan natin ma-delimit. Kasi it's just a project. If it's a program, it's longer term, right? But if it's a project, normally maximum mga 3 years yan eh. O kung short term, 1 year action plan lang yung ginagawa natin. So very important, targeting, success indicators or measurement of success. Tapos naka-align talaga yung plan natin. What's realistic within the given time frame, and where are you going to source your funds? So yun lang. But basically, I'm satisfied. Kaya lang syempre, given the limitation, gusto ko sana ng 20 ba to? 50 ba yan? Ilang percent yung tinatarget natin out of the 100? Something like that. Yun lang. Thank you very much and congratulations again.
Thank you, Prof. Pidong. Really indeed, no. We mentioned that to our students when we had our classes, no, in different courses related to project management, that indeed this project paper or project management course is at par with doing a thesis. No, in doing a thesis, you test, you discover a theory, you test a theory, but in the project development as a paper, you always start with needs assessment, and I think that's very crucial. Indeed, it's a research in itself, and I would like to congratulate and commend all students that they were able to look first, no, for the first step on quantifying the context of their project by looking at the sector engaged, no, and would benefit from the project. Nagdumaan pa sila ng research talaga, no, ng rigor ng research, looking at why is it a problem and what needs to be done. And if I believe, no, PC administrators have looked into that, no, na ang research paper at saka yung project paper are equally important and relevant. Though in the project management, it takes a lot of statistics to push the relevance of why you are putting at such project. So we'll take note on those things. Professor Pidong, go back, no, to the why there is a need, no? So needs assessment, a lot of statistics to support the relevance of the project. And there is a question here from the audience, Mark Loren. I think Mark is part of the new student that will undergo in his own time, no, the project proposal for the next batch, no? So he would like to ask a few tips from those who have presented how to finish these projects against all odds. So if anyone from the presenters can answer that question or statement. Yes? Anyone from the EDUC group? Ano daw ang mga mabibigay niyong tips? Paano nalagpasan ang madugong project development, yung proposal niyo? Yes, Brother Glenn. Would you like to do the honors? My tips?
Good morning po. With regards to the question, I do believe one thing that we need to consider is the motivation and rigorous planning. With the previous semesters that I had with PCU, I think hindi dapat mawala yung motivation most especially sa pag-aaral at saka sa pagkakandak ng study. Syempre may mga bagay-bagay na we will be disappointed, may mga bagay-bagay na parang nawawala yung sigla, pero always remember that you enrolled for PCU and you enrolled for your graduate studies, and you need to be motivated with that kind of attitude that you will continually be motivated and will able to finish your goals in life. And then second, you need to plan very well. That's what I learned with my previous schools, na kailangan magplano ng mas maigi para sa ganon ay mas maganda yung magiging kalalabasan. And I do believe doon sa sinabi ni Doc kanina, Doc Alfred, na hindi naman may implement ng maganda yung project proposal kung hindi pagpalanuhan at titignan mabuti kung saan ito papupunta at kung ano yung pinanggagalingan. So with my project proposal, hindi naman siya nangyari with at snap of a finger or overnight lang. So we already had a learning continuity plan before, but since nagkaroon na ng mga shifting sa mga sa mga pangyayari, nagkaroon ng enhanced learning continuity plan. So ibig sabihin, we learn from the previous mistakes, we learn from the previous events na nangyayari sa buhay natin. So yun lang po siguro, we stay motivated, plan ahead, and learn from our mistakes and learn from the previous events. That would be all. Thank you po.
Salamat.
Doktor, magdagdag ako yung kay Lawrence. Isipin mo rin yung tuition mo. Motivate ka. Pagka nag-enroll ka ng 6 units, tapos nagbayad ka na, I don't know kung magkano tuition sa PCU. Kasi sa Lasal, like, ang 3 units parang equivalent na ng full load sa ibang school. So kailangan mong ma-motivate kasi sayang yung tuition. Parang wala kang mapapala natapos yung isang semester mo. Wala kang man lang naisulat kahit review of related literature. Hello. Parang yung cost nung tapos syempre yung lagi ka naka-online, masakit sa mata, masakit sa ulo. Yung mga ganun, isipin mo, is it worth your time actually enrolling under the new normal? So that should be enough motivation na yung hirap, di ba? Parang pag wala ka, natapos yung SEM, wala kang output, sayang, di ba? So, hello Mark, yun.
Thank you. Indeed, reason and motivation, they go together. Okay, can we have 1 or 2 from the edu management?
Doc?
Yes, go ahead. Okay, Brian.
For me, what can I advise is, dito sa paggawa ng project like me, dito sa ginawa kong project proposal, lagi kong iniisip what will my project will bring to the community. So dito sa akin, iniisip ko lagi kung ano yung magiging resulta para nito sa mga kababayan ko. Like specific industry, sa maritime industry, ginawa ko yung project na to dahil I want a transformation in the education of maritime. So since na I saw it since 2017, nung wala pa yung pandemic, na hindi na akma yung mga rules, yung mga provisions regarding dito sa kasalukuyang maritime education system sa Philippines. It's not aligned sa international community. So that's why nagkaroon ng mga maraming issue, nagkaroon pa nga ng threat sa maritime industry na when it comes education, mababa tayo. So that's why, iniisip ko lagi, sana itong aking project ay mag-contribute ng transformation, and then it will result hindi lamang sa kasanayan ng mga susunod na mga marino, as well as it will contribute less errors at sea. And when we say less errors, buhay kasi yung nakataya dito sa profession ng maritime industry, buhay yung nakataya. And then kung hindi educated or not well educated yung mga susunod, it will cause dangers at sea, and then of course loss of life, no? Kawawa naman yung magiging pamilya na may iwanan ng mga marino dahil lang sa kapabayaan, cause of lack of knowledge. So I always think it's a project na to that will contribute it a major ratification as well as major yung pagbabalasahin talaga, no, pagbabaguhin yung maritime industry, no, sa pamamagitan ng uh, pagtitraining ng mga instructor, no? Which I always believe that if you want to produce a good student, first must be produce a good teacher. Yun lang po. Thank you po, Doc.
Thank you, thank you. So indeed, that's theory and practice. Truism, no? So kailangan talaga, the huge task indeed, no? For you, if I may use your word, transforming, no? Transforming the instruction so it can create impact, no, in the profession that you are in. Do we have a last one for the edu management group?
Yes, Doc, can I add?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, to the participants who questions this, before I finish this projects, there are a lot of problems that arise. So before I finish this project, so
before you
it
have
also
seen
happens
the
to you if
silver lining.
yes, dogs in the slums of Iloilo City. So if that's so, before if that's so, these proposal seminars will help you to manage a project from a very start to finish, even if you are not a professional yet, sir. So this is the truth. So the truth is that everyone needs to know the project management concept, even if you are not a professional or a manager. It helps in achieving your project, sirs, or more than easily as your project works to make your project a huge success. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you always. Okay, so that's it. So I would like to see first the audience if there are, okay, I think there are signs of congratulations. So do we have other queries, comments from the audience? So I have with me 5 slides. So let me visit our screen. Yeah. So if none, okay, if none, then let me end this open forum or open conversation with a big thank you, no, to our resource speaker, Prof. Pidong, to the EDUC presenters. Job well done. I think all of you deserve a round applause, no, for this starting up, no? So you level up the presentation. And this afternoon, we shall have the Master in Business Administration. And tomorrow, we have still exciting lineup, no? One guest lecturer or guest speaker to join us in the morning. And then the rest of the other programs will follow in their presentation. So we have the Master in Public Administration, and then Master in Public Health, Master in Hospital Administration, and then the Crisis Resiliency Group. So they will be presenting tomorrow's activity. So again, on behalf of the faculty for the Collab Group, Philippine Christian University, and the Transnational Education Extension Program, we still have here Dr. or BP Margie de la Cruz, no, joining us all throughout this activity. So we can thank you enough. No? So salamat po sa inyong pagdalo, and we'll see you at 1 o'clock for the presentation of the next cluster or group. Before that, let me borrow your screen so we can have a photo opportunity for those present today. Maraming salamat po. Yes. So we are the group is receiving congratulations from your classmates and colleagues, no, on this morning's presentation. So yeah, nagko-congratulate sila. Okay. So let me have my screen. So I have 5. So maybe we can have a still smile for 10 seconds. 1. Second screen. Wait. Okay, next. Wait ah. Okay. Then I have the third. Okay. Fourth slide, fourth screen. And then this is the last. Maraming salamat po. So see you at 1 o'clock. Congratulations, Edu Group, for the job well done. That's awesome. Okay. Salamat po. Okay. Thank you po. Salamat. See you this afternoon.
Thank you po, Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.